Hello everyone, I'm Alicia. For this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make my elegant beaded barefoot sandals. This one I made with paper beads, and I learned how to make these paper beads from Janice May. I'll leave a link to her YouTube channel in the description bar below my video, and there you'll see all her videos where she shows how to make all different sizes and shapes of paper beads. Here's another one I made, and this one I used flat diamond-shaped glass beads, and this one I did bugle beads. So all three of these I made using the same size beads, but I used different shapes of the same size, and I got three different looks. You can wear these barefoot sandals just the way they are, but I found that you can wear them with some shoes. Not all shoes, but some. Like you could put it on and then put your foot into the shoe. And I've also found that it's actually more comfortable if you're able to put your foot into the shoe and then put this on over top of your shoe. And I'll show you a picture of what that looks like. Here is the list of materials you're going to need to make a barefoot sandal. You're going to need 5 feet of 8-pound or 10-pound monofilament. You're going to need 27 6mm beads. And they could be bicones, rounds, bugles. They could be different shapes, but they got to be 6mm. You're going to need 32 4mm beads. So this is a 4mm bead. And they can also be bicones or rounds. You're also going to need 11-aught beads. You're going to need a lobster claw clasp or a clasp of your choice. And you're going to need either 2 split rings or jump rings. I'm using split rings because they are more secure. Now, in the one I'm making here, I have just enough of these 4mm hematite beads in round shaped, but I don't have enough to do the rest. So I'm actually doing these barrel looking ones for the rest. It's the same color, but I didn't have enough of those, so I'm doing the same color but in a different shape of bead. So for the weaving part, you actually need 19 6mm beads and 24 4mm beads. And if you were like me and you don't have enough to do the rest, you can use a different shape in the same color. I'll leave all this information in the description bar below the video in case you get confused or you need to see it in writing. Now I wear normally a size 8 shoe, so I found that them being this long fits me just right. Now I have been trying this on other people's feet to make sure that it's going to fit them too. And I did find that this here also fits on a person who wears a size 10 shoe, but I had to adjust the rest of this here to fit their foot, so I had to make it a little bit larger. But this length was just right for the top of my foot and somebody else that had a larger foot. If you're going to make this for a smaller foot, you might have to adjust how long that is. And if you're going to make it for a really big foot, you also might have to adjust it. There's only one way to find out, is to try it on as you're making it. So if you're making this barefoot sandal as a gift to somebody and you don't know what size ankle they are, what you can do on this side, not the side with the clasp, but on this side, is add an extender chain. So this right here is an extender chain, and they can put any size they want on their anklet so it fits them just right. I marked my ends of my monofilament with a red and a black Sharpie marker, and then I picked up 3 inches of 11-aught beads. And this is going to be my toe ring. So now I'm going to pick up 1 6mm bead and cross through it. Bring my ends together so they're even, and bring this bead down to the center of my string. Now I have my toe ring. Now I'm going to pick up 1 C bead on each side, and then a 4mm bead on each side. Slide those down, and then I'm going to pick up a C bead, and I'm going to cross through the C bead and bring it down. So So now we should have this. I'm going to take one of my strings, it doesn't matter which, because we're going to do this to both, and I'm going to pick up a C bead, a 4mm C bead, a 6mm, and a C bead. So just like this. I'm going to take my string here, and I'm going to go through this 4mm bead from the bottom, go through it, pull it through, and then I'm going to go through this 11/0 C bead that we had just added. Pull it through and tighten it up. So now it should look like this. Now I'm going to swap my strings because I'm right-handed and do the same thing to this side. So one 11, one 4mm, one 11, a 6mm, and an 11. So again, just like this, in this order. And then I'm going to go through the bottom of this 4mm bead, pull it through, and now I have to go through this 11/0 C bead, pull it through, and now I'm going to tighten it up just like that, and this is what yours should look like. Now I'm going to pick up one 11/0 C bead, and I'm going to cross through it and bring it down. So right here it is, and bringing it down, now we have 4. So I'm going to take both of my strings, but I'm going to do one at a time, but I'm doing the same thing with both strings. I'm going to take this one over here, and I'm going to go through this bead on the same side and pull the string through. Then I'm going to swap to my other string, and I'm going to go through this bead. Oops. Just like this. Pull it through. So now both of my strings are exiting out of the 4mm beads. Now this might get loose down here, so what I do to fix that is I take and grip the 6mm beads and I pull them, and it tightens this area, and then I pull them straight and it tightens the whole thing. Now I'm going to take both of my strings, and on each string I'm going to pick up one 11 and then a 6mm and cross through it. So now we have one of these complete. So now you're kind of seeing why I call this the elegant barefoot sandal, because it matches the elegant earrings and ring that I already have a tutorial on, but it is a little bit different. So this is one part completed, and now I'm going to do the same thing again and make this over. So now that both of my strings are exiting out of the 6mm bead, I'm going to pick up a C bead on each string and a 4mm bead on each string. And then I'm going to pick up a C bead and cross through it. Bring it down. And it looks like this. So we are repeating the same steps over and over. So I'm going to take one of my strings, doesn't matter which, because we're going to do the same to both sides. Pick up 11/0 C bead, a 4mm, an 11/0, a 6mm, and another C bead. So it should look just like this. And I'm going to take this string and go through this bead right here, through the bottom, pull it through, and now I have to go through this 11/0 C bead that we had picked up. Make it tight, and it looks like this. I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing to this side. C bead, 4mm, C bead, 6mm, and a C bead. Just like that. And I'm going to take my string and go through this 4mm up to the bottom, pull this through, and now I have to go through this 11/0 C bead, tighten this up, and this part here is a little loose. Right here you could see the strings on the bottom one, so I pull the sides, and then I'm able to tighten the rest up by pulling these. So now I'm going to pick up an 11/0 C bead, because right now we have 3 right here and we need a total of 4. So after this one, we always have to remember that we have to pass through the 4mm beads, and sometimes you will forget that, because I have. So put the 4th one on, bring it down, pull it tight, make sure there's no spaces. Now take one of your strings, I'm going to take this one, it's exiting right here, and I'm going to go through this 4mm, just like that, and I'm going to do the same to the other side. Just like this, and pull this snug. Again, you might have to check to see if it's getting loose down here by pulling these snug. So now I'm going to pick up an 11/0 C bead on each string, one on each side. Oops, I dropped it. And then I'm going to pick up a 6mm bead and cross through it. Just like this. So I'm going to do this one more time, repeating how to make one of these, and then I'm going to just fast forward it to the rest, and if you rewind it, you can watch over on how to make it again. So every time both of our strings are exiting opposite ways out of this 6mm bead, that means that we have to pick up one C bead on each string, and then a 4mm bead on each string. Slide those down, and then pick up a seed bead and cross through it. Bring the seed bead down, and we should have this. Now take one of your strings and pick up a seed bead, a 4mm seed bead, 6mm, a seed bead, so it should look just like mine, just like that. And I'm going to pick up nothing. I'm going to go through this 4mm bead right here. Pull my string through, and now I have to take this string and go through this 11/0 seed bead right here. Pull it tight. I'm going to swap my hands and work on this side, doing the same thing. So out of this 11/0 seed bead, I'm going to pick up 111, a 4mm, an 11, a 6mm, and an 11 seed bead. It's just like that. And now I'm going to go to the bottom of this 4mm bead, pull it through. Then I'm going to go through this 11/0 seed bead, just like this. And I have to tighten my work up because it gets a little loose. So pull both sides of the 6mm beads, and then I'm going to pull these strings and pull my work down. Now after we have it looking like this, there's 3 11/0 seed beads there, so that means that I have to take and pick up one 11/0 seed bead, cross through it, bring it down, and there's the 4 together now. So I'm going to take one of the strings, so this one here on this side, and I'm going to pass through this 4mm bead, just like this. Then I'm going to flip it over and take my other string and go through this 4mm, these holes are very tiny on these hematite beads. Okay, so through there, pull it through, tighten it up, looks just like this. Make sure there's no spaces where you could see our string. And now I'm going to pick up on each string an 11/0 seed bead, and then I'm going to pick up a 6mm bead and cross through it. Bring it on down. So now I have 3 of these completed. Now you're just going to keep making these over and over till you get 6 of them done, or however long your foot is. So mine is about 6 long. Go ahead and try this on when you get to that point to make sure that it fits you just right. So I kept on going and I repeated those steps over and over, so now I have 6 of them. Now remember, if you have a hard time doing this, all you have to do is rewind the video. Now with my strings here, I just picked up beads on them on both sides. I did it. And you can use bead stops to keep your beads from falling off, or you can string one side at a time and then tie your knots on that side. But a cheaper way, instead of using bead stoppers to keep your beads from falling off, is gator clamps. These work pretty good. I got them at Michael's too, in the bead aisle actually. So I put my beads on both sides, and anklets are normally like 10, 11 inches. Now, because this is attached to our toe, you have to make this anklet part looser on your ankle, because when you go to stretch your foot and put your foot down like that, it can be really tight if you don't have the anklet loose enough. So, and also remember I said that you can put an extender chain on this if you have to. So I just strung on all my beads here, and I did 6 seed beads, and then I did these ones here in between each 6. So after my last 6 seed beads, I'm going to take this clip off, I'm going to pick up 6 seed beads again, just like this. Then I'm going to pick up half of my clasp, so there's 6 seed beads and half my clasp. Now I'm going to take this string, my marker's worn off, but you can still see it, and I'm going to pass it straight down through all of these 11-knot seed beads right here, but not through this larger bead. So just like this, and pull it on down, and if you look here, it's going to make a little circle around my clasp, just like that. So pull that, hold it right here and pull it. I'm going to put this back on it so I don't lose my work on that side. And I'm going to go to this side over here. My seed beads are getting away. And again, this side I left off with 6 seed beads. So I'm going to take my clamp off and pick up 6 again. And then the rest of my clasp, my other spring ring. So there they are. And over here, I'm going to go through all these seed beads. So to these 6 seed beads, but not through that 6mm bead, and then I'm going to pull it through. Just like this. And if you hold this part right here, where we pass through those, it gets tighter. Just like that. So now I'm going to put a clip on this side, and then I'm going to close the anklet shut. So our strings are still long, so open this up, put your foot through this hole, put this over your second toe, and then pull these strings tight so that you have no string that's being shown. And stretch your foot out straight. And if this is snug on your ankle, then you're going to have to add more seed beads to make it bigger. And of course, if it's too big, you're going to have to take some out. So once you get this the right size, then we're ready to knot it. So now I'm going to open the clasp back up, and I'm going to pull the string tight on both sides. Okay, now we're ready to tie our knot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a half hitch knot right before each large bead. So I'm going to tie one here, then I'm going to go through this bead and pull the knot through. Then I'm going to go through all these 11-knot seed beads, and then I'll tie another knot here. Now, if you're doing bugle beads, you're not going to be able to hide your knots inside the bugle beads. So what you're going to have to do is hide them inside of these larger beads here, because the bugle bead holes are very small. So you would be knotting inside of these. So you would go through all of these and tie your knot. So I'm right here, and pull this nice and tight. Again, I'm going to make sure this side's tight. Take the clip off. I'm going to make a loop. I'll go around this. Make a loop. Go through the loop twice. 1, 2. I'm going to make my knot right here. Pull this down. Pull it tight. So there's my knot. And now I'm going to go through this bead and through all the 11-knot seed beads. Pull it so that the knot pops inside of this bead, and you'll feel it pop inside. So right here I'm going to tie another knot. I'm going to make a loop, go through it twice, and right here pull it on down. Then I'm going to go through this bead and all the 11-knot seed beads. 1, 2, 4. Pop it into that bead and go through these two. So keep on going, tying your knots inside of those beads, and I'll go down the whole side and I'll tie my last knot right here in this one, and then I'll go through those beads and I'll snip my string. And do the same exact thing on this side, and then you should be done with your ankle. So this is it. Please like my video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos, and follow me on Facebook. And don't forget to show me pictures of the things you've made from my videos. I love seeing all the beautiful jewelry you've made. Thanks for watching.